Lamentations chapter 4. Devastation of Jerusalem. How dull is the gold, how tarnished the fine gold. The sacred gems are poured out at the corner of every street. The precious sons of Zion, once worth their weight in gold, alas, now they are treated like clay jars, the work of a potter's hands. Even jackals offer their breasts to nurse their young. The daughter of my people has become cruel, like ostriches in the desert. The nursing infant's tongue clings to the roof of his mouth for thirst. Little children ask for bread, but no one gives it to them. Those who used to eat delicacies are desolate in the streets. Those who were brought up in purple embrace trash heaps. For the iniquities of the daughter of my people is greater than the sin of Sodom, which was overthrown in a moment, yet no hands turned to her. Purer than snow were her princes, whiter than milk. Let their bodies more ruddy than rubies, their appearance like sapphire. Their form has become darker than soot. They are not recognized in the street. Their skin has shriveled on their bones, withered like a tree. Better are those slain by the sword than those struck down by famine. They waste away, racked with pain, for lack of fruits in the field. The hands of compassionate women boiled their own children. They become their food when the daughter of my people were destroyed. Adonai has vented his fury. He has poured out his burning anger. Yes, he kindled a fire in Zion that devoured her foundations. The kings of the earth did not believe, nor did the inhabitations of the world. That enemy and foe wouldn't enter the gates of Jerusalem. Yet it happened because of the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her Kohanim, who shed in her midst the blood of the Tzaddikim. They wander in the streets like blind men. They are so defiled with blood, no one can touch their garments. Turn away, unclean, they cry to them. Turn away, don't touch. So they fled wandered about. People among the nations say, they can stay here no longer. Adonai himself has scattered them. He will look on them no more. They did not respect the Kohanim. They did not favor the elders. Even now our eyes waste away, looking in vain for our help. From our towers we watched. For a nation that could not save us, they hunted our steps, so we could not walk in our streets. Our end was near, our days were numbered, for our end has come, our pursuers were swifter than eagles of the sky. They pursued us over the mountains, they ambushed us in the wilderness. The anointed of Adonai, the breath of our nostrils, was captured in their pits, of whom we have said, under his shadow we will live. Among the nations, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, you who dwell in the land of Uz. To you also will be the cup passed. You will be drunk and stripped naked, O daughter of Zion. Your punishment is accomplished. He will exile you no longer. But, O daughter of Edom, he will punish your iniquity and uncover your sins. Lamentations chapter 5. Remember us. Remember Adonai, what has come upon us. Look and see our disgrace. Our inheritance is turned over to strangers, our homes to foreigners. We have become orphans, fatherless. Our mothers are like widows. We pay silver for the water we drink. Our wood comes at a price. Our pursuers are at our necks. We are weary and have no rest. We have held out our hand to Egypt and Assyria to be satisfied with the bread. Our fathers sinned and are no more, but we bear their punishment. Slaves rule over us. There is no one to deliver us from their hand. We get our bread at the peril of our lives, because of the sword in the desert. Our skin is as hot as an oven due to the fever from famine. The women in Zion have been ravished, maidens in the towns of Judah. Princes are hung up by their hands. Elders are dishonored. Young men toil at the millstone. Boys stagger under loads of wood. Elders are gone from a gate, young men from their music. Joy has ceased in our hearts. Our dance has turned into mourning. The crown has fallen from our head. Woe to us, for we have sinned. Because of this our heart is faint. For these things our eyes are dim. For Mount Zion, which lies desolate, as jackals prowl over it. Hashivenu, restore us. You, Adonai, are enthroned forever. Your thrones endure from generation to generation. Why do you always forget us and forsake us for so long? Bring us back to you, Adonai, and we will return. Renew our days as of old, unless you have utterly rejected us and are exceedingly angry with us. Ecclesiastes chapter 1. Kohelet, the preacher. The words of Kohelet, son of David, king in Jerusalem. Futile, says Kohelet, completely meaningless. Everything is futile. What does a person gain in all his labor that he toils under the sun? A generation comes and a generation goes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets, and hurries back to the place it rises. The wind goes toward the south and circles around to the north. Round and round it swirls about, ever returning to its circuits. All the river flows into the sea, yet the sea is never full. To the place where the rivers flow, there they go again. All things are wearisome, no one can express them. The eye is never satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. What has been is what it will be, and what has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything about which is said, look, this is new? It was already here long ago, in the ages long before us. There is no remembrance for former things, and things yet to come will not be remembered by those who follow. Search for meaning in life. I, Kohelet, and king over Israel and Jerusalem, I applied my heart to seek and examine by wisdom all that is done under heaven. What a burdensome task God has given the sons of men to keep them occupied. I have seen all the deeds done under the sun, and behold, all is meaningless and chasing after the wind. What is crooked cannot be made straight. What is missing cannot be counted. I spoke with my heart, saying, I have grown rich and increased in wisdom more than any who were before over Jerusalem. Indeed, my heart has experienced much wisdom and knowledge. So I applied my heart to know the wisdom as well as to know the madness and folly. I learned that this too was the pursuit of the wind. For with much wisdom comes grief, and whoever keeps increasing knowledge increases heartache. Ecclesiastes chapter 2. Futility of human pleasures. I said within myself, come now, I will test you with the pleasure to see what is good, yet behold, this too was meaningless. I said of laughter, it is madness, and of pleasure, what does it accomplish? I thought deeply about how to cheer my flesh with wine, letting my heart guide me with wisdom, and how to grasp folly so that I could see what was worthwhile for the sons of men to do under heaven during the days of their lives. I increased my possessions, I built myself houses, and I planted myself vineyards. I made royal gardens and parks for myself, and planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I constructed for myself pools of water to irrigate a forest of flourishing trees. I purchased male and female servants, and had other servants who were born in my house. I also owned more herds and flocks than all my predecessors in Jerusalem. I also amassed silver and gold for myself, as well as the treasures of kings and the provinces. I acquired male and female singers for myself, as well as the luxuries of humankind, vaults and vaults of them, so I became far wealthier than all before me in Jerusalem. Yet my wisdom stayed with me. I denied myself nothing that my eyes desired. I withheld from my heart no enjoyment. My heart took delight from all my toil. This was my reward for all my labor. Yet when I considered all that my hands had done, and the toil I had expended to accomplish it, behold, it was futile and chasing after the wind. There was nothing to be gained under the sun. Futility of human wisdom. Then I turned to consider wisdom, madness, and folly, for what more can the one who succeeds the king do than what he has already done? I realized that wisdom is more beneficial than folly, as a light is better than darkness. A wise man has his eyes on his head, while the fool walks in darkness. Yet I also came to realize that the same destiny befalls them both. Then said I in my heart, I, even I, will have the same destiny as a fool. So why have I become so wise? I said in my heart, this too is meaningless, for the wise man together with the fool is not remembered forever, for in the days to come both will be forgotten. Alas, the wise, just like the fool, must die. And so I hated life, because the work done under the sun was grievous to me. All is but vapor and chasing after the wind. I also hated all the fruit of my toil, for which I labored under the sun, because I must leave it to the one who comes after me. Who knows if he will be wise or a fool? Yet he will be a master all over the fruit of my toil, which I had wisely labored under the sun. This too is futile. So I turned my heart over to despair, over all the things of which I had toiled under the sun. For sometimes a man who has labored with wisdom, knowledge, and skill must hand over as an inheritance to someone who did not work for it. This also is futile and a great misfortune. For what does a man get for all his toil and longing of his heart, for which he labors under the sun? For all his days his work is pain and grief, and even at night his mind does not rest. This is also futility. There is nothing better for people than to eat and drink and to find enjoyment in their labor. This too I perceived is from the hand of God. For who can eat and who can have joy apart from him? For to the one who pleases him he gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy, but to the sinner he gives the task of gathering and accumulating wealth, to give it to the one who pleases God. This is also vapor and striving after the wind. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. A time for everything. For everything there is a season, and a time for every activity under the sun. A time to give birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear apart and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. What gain, then, does the laborer get with his toil? I have seen the task that God has given to the children of men to keep them occupied, yet eternity in their heart. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Moreover, he has set eternity in their heart. And without the possibility that humankind can ever discover the work that God has done from the beginning to the end, I know that there is nothing better for them to rejoice and enjoy themselves in their lifetime. Also, when anyone eats and drinks, finds satisfaction in all his labor, it is the gift of God. I know that everything that God does will endure forever. There is no adding to it or taking away from it. God has made it so that they will revere him. Whatever exists has already been, and whatever will be has already been, but God recalls what is past. I have also seen under the sun, in the place of justice there is wickedness, and in the place of righteousness there is wickedness. I said in my heart, the righteous and the wicked God will judge, for there is a time for every activity and for every deed. Humans the same as beasts? I also said in my heart, as for the sons of man, God tests them so that they may see that they are but animals. For the destiny of humankind and the destiny of animals are one and the same. As one dies, so does the other. Both have the same breath. A human has no advantage over an animal. Both are fleeting. Both go to one place. Both were taken from the dust, and both will return to dust. Who knows that the spirit of sons of man ascend toward the upward, and the animal spirit descends to the earth? So I perceive that nothing is better for man to enjoy his works, because that is his portion. For who can bring him to see what will be in the future?